After 2 weeks of solid work on this hard top, I'm finally ready to get it finished. I've toiled with spraying flow coat and fairing and everything for the last 2 weeks, and I'm just not quite happy with the result. What I'm aiming for is dead smooth light chasers and some sort of texture on the main body, so that I firstly can cut down a little bit of reflection, and secondly I can get a good even consistent surface. Now the problem is it's above my head, so you've seen the video of me sanding and fairing, and it just went on for days, and to be honest, it's gonna look absolutely amazing even if I just leave it as it is, but it's not good enough for me. And what I've chosen to do is apply Raptor coating. Now, I've never used this stuff before, and there's a hell of a lot of people out there on the internet that are professing to be experts in spraying this stuff. So I've watched hundreds of videos on how to spray it, and there's just nothing for it than to just get in and do it. I have actually purchased the complete Raptor kit. Until just recently, you had to physically tint the colors to get anything other than black, or I think they might have done white, but luckily now you can actually buy it in a white finish. I'm concerned that it's not going to be exactly the same white as my gel coat, as long as it's a bright white. And to be honest, it won't actually matter if it's slightly a different white underneath this hard top, because obviously there's going to be reflection off the water, hopefully when I ever get it on the water. But ultimately, I've had to mask up, and it's been a very, very detailed mask up, this one. Firstly, I've sprayed all of the flow coat that I need to do around the areas that I want to be polished or highly polished and bright, such as my light runs and around the edge of the hard top, on the inside edge of the hard top. Now, it's pretty obvious that ultimately what happens is you end up putting in clears and socks holding basically the clears and any mesh or insect screens that are around this hard top. But I do want to make sure that I've got a nice polished finish around the edge, and that is more for touch up. If we get nicks and scratches on it, I can obviously fix that with gel coat. Once this Raptor's on, there's not a lot you can do other than to sand it off, so you've sort of got to get it right to start with. A couple of things I've learned about Raptor is that it's very important that you use the right gun. So I've purchased what they call the professional very nozzle application gun. We're not sponsored by Raptor. I don't think Raptor sponsor anyone these days, because there's millions of people using it. They are making some very serious inroads into the marine industry, and for surfaces that are overhead, I think they're absolutely perfect. I'm hoping it's going to bring up a beautiful textured finish on the surface here rather than a rolled finish. I was going to consider using a textured roller, but I'm going to go with the gun. One thing I have learnt is don't stop moving. Once you get moving with it and spray it out. Now we can adjust the texture of the result by simply adjusting the nozzle on the gun. Now you can buy a gun without a nozzle on it, however I've decided to buy the one with the nozzle. The other important thing is your air pressure, between 40 and 60 psi, so I've got an external regulator on the gun as well as one on my compressor, so that I can sort of modulate that a little bit. And I'll do a quick test pattern on a piece of cardboard or something downstairs and just be happy with the result. Now the other thing to think about is holding the gun typically perpendicular to the surface is not going to work in this case, because it's overhead and I don't want to be spraying dead vertical. I will be spraying it probably around about 45 degrees, so I have to be very careful I don't get tiger striping. And the final thing is, it's generally recommended it's put in 2 coats. Now, because it's an overhead surface and it's not going to be sustaining any wear, I'm going to possibly or potentially do it in one shoot. The reason why is because of the extreme amount of masking I'm going to have to do again. This is a big surface. This would be akin to the whole surface of a vehicle, all in one shoot. Janet and I are going to knock it off in a minute, and we're going to go and get ready. So as you can see, I've got plenty of masking up here. Now I'm going to shoot the first load, which is going to go here all the way over to here. And what I've actually done is I've masked it very carefully with a gap. So you can see here I'm going to be able to remove this one and then this one and leave my other drop sheet masking and everything in place, so that I can at least mitigate the amount of extra masking I'm going to have to do. I've basically masked it up to the point that I can now shoot this stuff and not think too much about whether I'm going to get it on my my surfaces. So I've pretty much tried to control where it's going to go. I don't believe it's too messy. However, it is a 2-pack urethane, and anything goes with 2-pack urethane. I mean, the fumes are one thing. You're going to end up with some pretty severe fumes in here. It's definitely full face respirator, or even better, an air-fed respirator. I don't have an air-fed one that's external that I can bring in from outside the tent, so I'm going to use a cartridge respirator, and that could be basically the end of it. But anyway, we're going to get shooting, and we'll give it a crack. Ready to go? All right, Janet is my plural mixing machine. We've got a 2-part system, the 4 litres effectively of Raptor in white. So we don't have to tint it, don't have to do anything. This hardener, it's basically 237 mils, so it's effectively almost a cup of hardener into the Raptor, mix it, put the lid on, shake it for 2 minutes, whack the gun, and this is the gun here, and you can see I've got it set at about 50 psi, which they guarantee is basically a finer spray, and the further distance away it gives you an even finer affair. And I'm going to do a test spray on this bulkhead template here, and effectively just sort of gauge my texture before I go running up. So the initial set time is about an hour, and in that time I have to remove all the masking tape around. So if I can get this done in 1 shoot rather than 2, I'm not starting from a raw surface, so I don't think I'm going to need 2 shoots. I've got the adjustable nozzle system, and how this works is if you screw it all the way in, it's actually flange that meets another flange. So when it's basically all the way in, it's not going to give a lot of air pressure. But what you do is wind it all the way in, and then I've made a mark on it, a little black notch. See that little black texture mark there, the Sharpie mark? 2 full rotations.
I thought this was really clever.
Out. Hold that one in place and use the locking nut. Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. It's better than an HVLP.
No, I meant your black dash to do your 2 full turns. It's well, quite simple but
probably
good.
Be covered in white crap in about 5 minutes.
That's true.
But yeah, so 2 full turns should give me a reasonable spray texture at 50 centimetres. So we're doing that. So there's going to be a lot of material, and this is 2-pack polyurethane, so it's going to stink and it's going to go on pretty quick. And the other thing too is don't ever stop moving. Righto, so the catalyst, or the 237 per container.
Don't get your mask on.
Woo! So we've shaken these up already to get, they've obviously been sitting in a box, and they're pretty thick. I mean, the consistency of this stuff is quite thick. So it needs to be thinned, and obviously we need this. And we're about to start putting Raptor on. So we're going to tip 237 mils into our Raptor bottle. Leaves about, it's about 2 inches of room in the top of the bottle. Put the lid back on, shake for 2 minutes. I had Janet shaking these earlier, she was getting down. We had some music on. Really important, you've got a steel base with an aluminium tube, so you don't want to cross thread that. This tube is the perfect length for the Raptor bottles, and the U-Pole bottles, that's the other brand. And basically screw her on. Alright, we're ready to shoot. I'm going to do a test here.
You got the nozzle right?
Hey?
You got the nozzle right?
Oh, I like that. Perfect. Right, so 2 turns out. Let's go. Let's do it. So this entire video is about how we applied the Raptor coating. It certainly isn't a how-to video, although I'll share my thoughts later in the video as to our experience, so hang around till the end to hear the verdict. My initial fear of application was compounded by the size of the job at hand. I'd used 2 bottles for a little less than half of the hardtop roof, and coupled with the fact that the gun, in my opinion, requires cleaning every 2 bottles, further compounding the stress. After a complete teardown, which was a very simple job indeed, we were able to resume and delivered the remaining 2 litres on the port side. Being used to spray typically in a fan-type delivery, I found the Raptor a little unusual at first, as a consistent motion is vital to avoid build-up and allow sufficient flashing off. You can see the texture forming before your eyes, and once I got the hang of it, I was able to vary the texture to a finer finish, which I trust will reduce glare and look great in the end.
These lines, it's a beautiful stippled finish. There's a couple of little lines here which I will fix, but the stippling is unreal. But very shortly, probably in a couple of hours time, I've got to come back in and sand that bastard off there, because I stopped my gun moving. I was concentrating on something else, and anyway, that's got to happen. So what I've got to do now is pull all the masking tape off around it. Over here, I'm not even going to touch it ever again. You can see the finish really markedly on this winch plinth, and I like it. I really like it. It is robust and tough, but we're not going to touch it until it's all dry. Yeah, that looks fantastic. It's very hard to see. You can sort of get a bit of a feel for the texture by getting close. But yeah, I've got to pull the masking tape off now, and that's going to be a bit of a messy job.
We had a super interesting day yesterday spraying our Raptor liner on the underneath of our hardtop, and I'll tell you what, from a product that's potentially more four-wheel drive and coating inspired, their break into the marine industry is certainly pretty rapid. I think it's being used on a lot of surfaces. It quite surprised me. However, although I had amazing success, I mean, I'm very, very happy with the texture, and I'll give you a bit of a look at the close-up texture. I didn't go for anything too heavy or too light either. I did run into a couple of problems.
I honestly don't know whether I want to film this bit.
No,
I'm going to film it for posterity. Look at this.
There's a couple of things you need to know about this stuff is don't overcommit to the space that you're going to spray, because by the time I got the whole thing done and tore off the masking tape, I ended up with massive problems. And that was one of the problems that I had. If I was going to do it again, I would do one section at a time. And I don't think it's designed to do sort of 25 square meters at one sitting. So pretty happy with the way this texture's come up here, but I've just remastered again. It's 24 hours later. Although I'm absolutely delighted with the finish, you can see it here on this this winch plinth here. I've got my smooth polished surface, which I'm going to have this as polished flow coat, and then straight onto Raptor coating all the way around here. And we've got a really nice fine line all the way around here. So I've tried to put a little bit of detail in it. It's probably not as nice as I would have liked, but you know, it's good, and it is a really great result for something that you know, is relatively cost effective, and the gun's pretty simple to use. So you can see here I've got polished fiberglass around, or polished flow coat around the edge of the hardtop, and then I've gone from Raptor from about this line here. I'm not sure whether you can see it on the video. So basically it's Raptor lined all the way along. These light chasers are going to be polished flow coat. The one thing it doesn't do, it doesn't hide any major imperfections, and these aren't imperfections, I wouldn't say they are, but they essentially are my extra laminate overlaps here. And you know, if I was doing it again, I certainly would have faired this before I put it up here. But anyway, I'm not going to spend years doing this, because the next time it gets painted, probably in 10 years time, I'll be able to sand that down and redo it. I'm not overly worried about it, and to be honest, you can hardly see it from the boat itself. So what's my verdict? Well, there's a couple of things you need to know about this stuff. Firstly, don't overcommit to the size of the project you're going to do unless you've got people here ready to firstly remove the masking tape. I left it around it took me about an hour to spray this. And that is the limit and the absolute extreme limit. And we had about 25 degrees of how you can remove the masking tape. And as a result, the masking edges on some of the earlier stuff that I sprayed over here tore down. And I've got a picture here. It's ugly. So be prepared. Here it is. Oh, yuck. So that is problem number one. Problem number two is don't overcommit because you tend to waste product. I probably wasted about half a litre of the product because I just got to the point I couldn't put any more material out. But you're dealing with sort of, I guess, 800-900 mils at a time, and it's just coming out at 100 miles an hour. So that's the problem number two. So don't overcommit to the size, and you will have a little bit of wastage, I guess, if you don't prepare properly. Now, I acetone watt this entire surface. One of the big issues with Raptor is if you put it on too thick, you're not actually allowing the solvent of each layer to flash off. You're not giving it that breathing time that it takes for the stuff to cure and then accept the second coat. So you end up with it too thick. And right here where I pulled the masking tape off too late, by the way, I caught the edge of it, and obviously because it was thick and heavy, it actually delaminated. And I've got a delamination spot right back here. I did have a big ugly blotch here where I was trying to cover up an error. However, I've been able to, 24 hours later, come in, hunt the thing back to an edge where it's actually got good adherence and it's not too thick, and I'm just going to respray it. So I'm going to put another bottle on these two panels, on my starboard panels. I'm not going to worry about the port. I'm very, very happy with the way these came up there. Absolutely superb. And it's going to be not so much good enough, but it's good enough because to the untrained eye, someone who's going to come on the boat for the day for a sail, they're not going to give a rat's ass. However, I will, and one day in the future, and maybe even when I finish doing inside, I might even give this one more coat. But the problem with doing another coat is you've got to go through all this palaver, as you can see around me, and that's a day's work just to get set up just to spray one layer. But I think it might be worth it in the long run.
Right, I think Janet's going to be pretty happy with me now, or fix that problem. Thank God for that. Actually, that's not that hard to fix. It's definitely easier than flow coat. Got a tiny little line here, but I can get that on another pass at a later date. I've fixed all the problem. Very, very important now I get all this masking tape off, because this is the problem I ran into yesterday, was that I left it probably 10 minutes too long and everything was very skinny. So it had already skinned off and started to attach to the masking tape. So I'm going to rip it off now.